crazy way to think about it. But now they can afford to undercut the food supply of other countries. Interesting shifts. By the way, I heard a great story yesterday about how the Chinese economy is not doing that well anymore. Like everybody talked about how the Chinese economy is like exploding. It exploded. Past tense. And now it's sputtering. Yeah.
In these countries that they're now importing all their rice from,
yes.
Are there no like national regulations about like feed our people first necessarily?
It's my understanding that with a globalized food market, it's very difficult to stop the leakage of food where profit is in the equation. So if Daniel's a farmer, you can regulate him whatever you want, but as long as China's willing to buy his rice, and there's nobody blocking his rice exports, then it still makes sense for him. Yes?
Is the reason they exported like the growth of their food because they don't have enough demand to grow?
That might be a reason, but you know their economy is changing.
So they can support it, that's why they're doing it?
You know, it's sort of, I mean, they kind of have to as well. It's not a good country for growing food as a fundamental issue. China's location and their types of dirt and their amount of water is kind of like not a great place for food production in the first place. Plus, going back to the Red Revolution, Mao started by urbanizing his country. They literally melted their tractors to make steel for factories. Literally. Like in the countryside, Mao said, hey, all of you little petty farmers, bring your shop tools and your machinery to the foundry. We need your steel to reinvent China. Like, it's literally a country that has shut down farms for 50 years. They wanted to be more of a producing economy, and that's what led to their growth. I mean, you can say a lot of bad things about the Red Revolution and the Communist Party, but they did actually grow their economy faster and more thoroughly than pretty much anybody. Seems like that's slowing down. Now they're sort of like trying to resettle into a different reality. But, yeah, they literally just stopped making food. Number 2, gets a single star. And like many of the study goals in this unit, number 2 connects to other study goals, like 57 and 70. I got some bad news about whether or not we have enough dirt to feed all the people. Number 2 says, even if we can feed all the people on the earth today, what will it take to feed the people of the future? Everybody says, well, grow more food. Oh, okay. But here's the problem. We got no more dirt. Of all the arable land on earth, you know what arable means? All the dirt you can water. Of all the arable land on earth, we are farming about 93-94%. So it's not like we'll just keep farming over there. There's like over there is now the ocean or the ice or the desert or the mountain. There's no more over there for growing food. We'll get to that. More than double. One thing we cannot do is make more farms. Another thing we can't do is grow those farms any harder. We have intensified agriculture about as much as we can intensify agriculture. We grow year-round almost everywhere that we grow food. We irrigate, we fertilize, we machinate, meaning we're using machinery to make things faster. We can't really intensify agriculture. So we got no more farm potential, no more food from the farm potential. So we need to reinvent. And there's basically two things we can reinvent. What we eat or what we consider farmland. People talk about hydroponic, floating in the ocean on top of distillation, eating further down on the food web. There are things we can change socially, but we got to be really clear about something. There's no more place for farms, and there's no way to get more food from the farms. This leads us into number 3. What is the main cause of famine? No? Yeah, I know, but why don't we have enough food?
Varying weather, international trade.
No. You need to reconsider this. Yeah, all the things that you've said so far are issues. We are facing increasing droughts. It's true, more water is evaporating in many places. It's not coming down in the same old places. Climate change is screwing up our food supply already. Get ready. You're living in a different world. But sorry, you guys got handed a big steaming turd instead of a nice shiny planet. But here's the one really funny bit of news that most of my students find shocking. Of all the food grown on Earth, most of it isn't even being fed to humans. I know, it don't make no sense. Please look up. If this circle is the planet's agricultural output, these are rough numbers, okay? If the planet's agricultural output is a pie, get this, humans are eating 40% of the pie. That's it. That's one option, because look, as much food as we feed to humans, we feed an equal volume of food to the animals that we will eat later. Now, of course, we eat those animals, but you realize we don't get the same caloric exchange, right? You remember that 10% efficiency issue?
What is the proximate caloric exchange we get? What we're feeding to the animals, what travels up to us? How much of that is?
Of that, we take an equivalent of roughly 4% as human food.
So
of the pie.
So there's 36% wasted on the animals.
Yes, because of that 90% inefficiency. I mean, they gotta chase each other. They gotta play pickle fight, and they gotta do whatever they do. So when the animals are doing their stuff, that's food we grew for them to do their stuff instead of food that we could have grown to do our stuff. Oh, it's like a leading cause of global warming. There's all sorts of other problems. The number one thing you can do for the planet is be a vegetarian, but who the heck wants to do that?
Fish aren't quite that.
I'm sure there'll be fish forever, though. Okay. Here's another thing about the food we grow on this planet. Look at this. If you're good at math, you'll realize something very quickly. Of all the food we grow on the planet, about 10% we feed to cars. Because we make agricultural biofuels. Now let me be very, very clear. Biofuel, good. Agricultural biofuel, bad. The whole point of biofuels is that we don't have to use gasoline. The funny thing is, it takes a lot of gasoline to grow our biofuels. So I know it doesn't make any sense, but to make this much biofuel, you know how much petroleum it takes? 1.2 buckets. So we have to use 1.2 buckets of petroleum to make 1 bucket of biofuel, so we don't have to use that bucket of gas.
Don't make it out of waste.
There's other ways to make biofuel. We can farm it in the ocean where kelp grows for us and eats up CO2. That's nice. We can use cellulosic biofuels. We're on the edge of pulling this off at an industrial scale. That uses leftover organic garbage, wood chips and agricultural debris. We could use naturally occurring plants that we don't have to farm, like certain grasses. There's a lot of options for biofuels. Just remember, agricultural biofuels, wrong answer. Look at what that would do to our human food supply. We could feed 25% more people if we used this biofuel land for food land.
Yeah, but if a company says that they use biofuels, it's like, oh, we're environmental.
There are a lot of reasons why biofuels are good, and politically, there's a lot of profit for confusing the issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Not all biofuels are good. Biofuel made out of human food, it's not like we got extra, I mean, we got extra food, but it's not like we got extra food.
But why, if it's like, can you make it sound so simple, why don't we just stop doing that?
Probably, you know, all the hippies like me say, biofuel, 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 fossil fuels are bad. And by the time that reaches politicians, there's like some lobbyist that's like, oh yeah, look at the hippie. You want biofuel? I got a biofuel recipe for you. Ding! And then all the corn states go, yeah, free money! And our president is from Illinois. Biofuel state. It's corn state. Okay. We waste about 10% of that food, and everybody says, oh my God, we could end world hunger if we stopped wasting food. But it's not that easy. It's not like you have like a pre-stamped Mylar envelope where you can take your sandwich crust and ship it over to Ethiopia or something. Like, we should reduce waste. But that's never going to reach zero. That's not an easy target. You know, this is an easy target, but do you guys realize that globally human meat consumption keeps going up because globally people are earning more? And remember, if a poor person gets 50 cents more, they'll buy more food.
And as long as you can make money off of selling it.
Right. So globally, this number wants to grow. And this number wants to grow because of socio-political issues.
What if we put like tariffs on like meat products?
Haha, socialist! Socialist! He's a socialist, everybody. Socialist. Yeah, I mean, the answer... Right. The answer, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just going to leave and look at the teeth because he's got it. Yeah, he got it. Okay.
Is there any downside to like changing what kind of meat we eat and eating meat that can be produced in a different way besides just feeding corn to cows?
Probably. You know, one of the...
Well, yes. But if people are always going to eat meat, it would be better to start broadening and just go to the meat that you're eating.
There's a bunch of stuff tangled up in this, and I got to move on with my study goals. This is a critical conversation. I mean, I think the short answer is there's trade-offs with anything that you do. And social trends are very difficult to manipulate. So unless you can find a profitable alternative, it's very difficult to make a costly alternative more attractive.
Farm camels in the desert for human consumption.
That'd be good for you. It's good meat. Very lean. I got an idea. We should eat all those horses.
Hey, keep on saying that.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's good meat. People say it's delicious.
Too many horses.
It's like the best meat. No fat. Go fat horse. I'll eat horse. I'll eat horse. Which makes you a criminal, doesn't it? In this country, you can't slaughter horse.
Really?
What?
That's illegal. Why?
I don't know if it's illegal to eat it, but it's illegal to slaughter for human consumption, isn't it? Somebody want to smartphone this? Can somebody please smartphone that?
Well, I'll just accidentally kill my horse.
Okay, good luck. Next. I'm on number 5. Will Powell, who